Good morning, everyone. Can anyone confirm audible or not? Yeah. So the last class where we stopped, the last class what we discussed. The last class we discussed about set timeout, set interval. Okay. The next one is like event bubbling. What is an event object? Okay. These all things we covered, right? Okay. Today our next level discussion is in JavaScript. It's a how to handle an events in JavaScript. Okay. Events in JS. Okay. How we gonna handle, for example, I have one button is there. Okay. At the time of clicking on this particular button, in the alert box, I want Naresh ID. So how we can write it? How we can write it? At the time of clicking on the button, okay, I want to perform some operation. So you need to add a click event. Okay. The next one, this is what? Handler method. So can I write like handler like this? Yes or no? Okay. Now here you can write the handler method function click. Yes. Here, clicked. Done, right? At the time of clicking on this particular button, this is my event handler. Event handler called. Inside the event handler, you can place like a alert method. Okay, alert method you can call it. Okay, the text is like click. Okay, done. Now what's my output if I click on this? If I click on this button, what's my output? This is my output. This is my output. Perfect. For example, I have one more button is there. One more button is there. Okay, now BTN1 is this one. This is like BTN2. 2 is this one. BTN2 is this one. If I click on this one in the alert box, clicked. Okay. If I click on this one in the alert box, clicked. It's okay, fine. Why? Because both are having the on click event. Handler method is this one. But my question is, if I click on this particular button, I don't want clicked. Okay, I want a proper text is like, okay, clicked button 1, clicked button 2, like this proper message I want. Then how we can I add here btn1? If I add here, then what? If I click on this one, if I click on this one, yes, clicked btn1 is okay. If I click on this one, see, clicked btn1 only, but it is not an expected output, right? It is not an expected output, right? Come on. Then what you have to do? You can write one more handler function click to. Here you can mention like a button to. Button to will works or not. Now two handler methods are there. So it works as expected. Okay. Maybe function click to. The method name is like function click to. Function click to. Yes, this is the button one working. This is the button two also working. But I don't want to write multiple handler methods. I want to handle like with a single method, single handler method. Then what change you want me to do? 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 Hmm? Pass as an argument. Perfect. Pass as a argument. Okay, this is like, okay, argument you can pass it. Okay, this is like btn1. Okay, this is like btn2. Pass as an argument. btn2. Now clicked. Okay, here the argument is what? Okay, id of the button or whatever it is. Clicked. Okay, id means btn1 or btn2. Now if I click on this one, clicked button 1. If I click on this one, clicked button 2. Working as expected or not? Working as expected or not? Yes or no? Okay, now how many click events are there? How many click events are there? Okay, on click, two times you written. For example, 10 buttons are there. How many times you need to write? 10 times you need to write it. 10 times. Okay, I don't want to write like a 10 times. I want to handle with one on click event, one event listener. One event listener, one on click only. Then that time you want me to write at button level or parent level? Come on. You want me to write at button level or parent level? Button level means for each and every button you have to write it. So you can go with the parent. Whenever you click on the button, okay, first it is going to check here the event triggered or not. Okay, on click event triggered. There or not there, it is going to check. There or not there for my button. Click event there or not there? Not there. If it is not there, okay, we have one concept is there, event bubbling. By default, my event travel to the next level. Okay, so this event travel to the next level is nothing but to this particular. Yes or no? Okay, so this event trigger and it is going to call this event handler method or not. Now my answer is what? Say this button one. Say this button two. Button two. Okay. Now can I save it? Control S. Control S. Can I refresh the page? Maybe it's not refreshed. Button one. Can I click on this one? Button one only or not? Why? Because here I have a chance to pass only one value, either button one and button two. But my question is, if I click on the first button, button one. If I click on the second button, button two. Like this I want. Then how we can? So we can get the event related details, event related information, how we can get it in JavaScript. In JavaScript, if you want to get an event related information, we have one predefined variable is there, event is the variable. So can I pass that variable as an argument to function click? Now my function click called with what? Event or not? Yes or no? Event or not? Now let me print this event, console.log of event. Now inspect it, go to console, refresh the page. Now click on the button click. This is my event. This is my event. In the event, if you observe, okay, it is an object. There is multiple properties are there. One of the property called is a target. Say this. You click on which button? You triggered an event on which element? That element you can get it here or not. So event.target is nothing but you triggered an event on which element, that element you can get it or not. So can I mention target here? Yes or no? Now if I click on this one, say this button one. If I click on this one, say this button two or not. If you have an element, can we get some information from that particular element? If my element has an ID equals to btn1, okay, this element has the ID equals to btn2. Okay, so how we can get the ID? Now button one click. See this ID I want. My event dot target dot, okay, how we can get the attribute? ID is my attribute. So event dot target dot ID, then the time you can get ID of the element where you clicked an event, where you triggered an event. See this, you can get the ID or not. Event dot target dot ID, not. Yes, can you come here? Can I refresh? You click on this button, button one, you click on the button, button two. Once you have this ID, can I create the var ID equals to this one? Now you can see the output is like what? Say this button one, say this button two are working. Yes or no? I don't want to allow, okay, the next level. Okay, I don't want to travel this event to the next level. Then what you have to do? Event dot stop propagation or not. Event dot stop propagation. Yes or no? Event dot stop propagation. Now, okay, that particular event parent level not there, but recommended to use event dot top stop propagation or not. Instead of using this concatenation by using plus, so can I go with the backticks? So how we can use the backticks? Okay, you can use the backtick like this. Here, directly you can mention the dynamic value dollar with an expression. In the expression, you can pass your dynamic value. Got my point? By using backticks, we can concat your static and dynamic values. Now onwards, don't use plus for concat the values. Okay, you can go with the backticks. Clicked dollar of ID is nothing but this is what? This is the dynamic value dollar with expression. Now, can I refresh the page? If I click on the button 1, yes. If I click on the button 2, yes. Okay. Now, this particular div is there, right? Okay. Can I apply some style? Style equals to background color. Style equals to background color is like yellow. It's like yellow. Now, if you observe, can I refresh the page? Now, see. If I click on the button click, yes, my event travel to the parent. If I click on the button to, yes, my event travel to the parent. If I click on the parent, then the time, see this clicked. Is it like expected output? You want me to handle this click event or not required? You want me to show that? You want me to show this alert box? No, right? When you want me to show? Whenever you click on the div, don't show it. Don't show it. So how you know? How you can? Okay, how we can come to know the event triggered on which element? Already you know event the target, which tag also you can find it, which tag also you can find it. Can I put the debugger here? Can I refresh the page? If I click on this one, okay, my control, my execution flow stopped at line number 9, so my console is pointing to this particular function scope or not. So this is my event. My event dot target is this one. Event dot target dot, okay, node name is what? Div or not. Whenever my node name is like div, don't perform any operation. Can I write the condition like that? Can I write the condition like this? If my event dot target dot node name equals to div, then that time, okay, I want to terminate the execution of my program. Then how we can terminate the execution of remaining statements inside the program, inside the function? Just return it. Whenever the return statement got executed, okay, at that time the remaining statements will not execute. See, button click, yes. Button 2 click, yes. If I click on this one, nothing will happen. Got the point? Yes or no? Anyone have any questions? Yeah. See, event, target. See how many times you are performing the operation on event and target objects? 2 times. Okay, instead of that, can we destructuring the properties? Can we destructuring the properties? My event dot target from this particular object, can we destructuring the properties? Which properties you want me to destructuring? One is like node name, another one is like ID. So can I remove this node name? Okay, can I remove this ID also? Now this one and this one both are like same names. So can I change it to underscore ID? Any problem? From my event.target object, I am destructuring node name and ID. Now onwards, there is no need to put event.target.node name, event.target.id or not. Performance wise, which one is like better? Performance wise, which one? Which one is like preferable? This one or not? Now, can you come here? Can I refresh the page? Say this. Working right. Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay. Now, for example, think this particular on click is not there. This particular on click is not there. Not there. Okay, not there is nothing but this div. written by some other people, you are not the person to change it. Still, I required one event for this particular div. Still, I need to add this event for that particular div. Then how? Then how? That is the question. So if you return this div, yes, you can write it on click equals to function click. For example, you not return. For example, you not return. For example, you not return this particular div, some other person return. Still, I want to add an event for this particular div. Then how? Means dynamically, I want to add an event for this particular div or not. Yes or no? If you want to perform any operation on any element, first, can we get the reference of this particular element? Can we get the reference of this particular element? How we can get the reference of this particular element? Still, ID not there, nothing is there. So you know how to get the reference of an element div. Can anyone tell? By using selectors. Which selector is the recommended one? Okay, only one div is there, go with the div. So I have, okay, my div reference. I have, that means div reference is method. I have the div. To this particular div, what you want me to add? I want to add an event. Next, come on, I want to add an event and I want to add an event listener also or not. I want to add an event. I want to add a listener to that particular event or not. Yes or no? To this particular div, I want to add an event as well as listener. So to this particular div, if you want to add an event and listener, we have one method is there, add event listener. Add event listener is the method. Okay, which take multiple arguments. Okay, currently two things we have to include here. What? Event and listener. What is my event here? Query selector to get the element reference. Why means I want to perform some operations on my div. This is not written by you. Still div is there. Div is not written by you. So I want to add an event for that particular div. So get the element reference. Once I have the element, you can add an event for that particular element or not. So add event listener. Which event you want me to add it? Come on. Which event you want me to add? On click. Okay, don't write on. Okay, just write click only. Add event listener, don't write on. That's it. The next one is what? The next one is what? Come on, the next one is what? The next one is what? Listener method. What is my listener method? What is my listener method? Come on, what is my listener method? Function click is my listener method or not? Okay, can anyone tell me? Add event listener, take how many arguments at this moment? Add event listener, take how many arguments? Two arguments. Among these two arguments, first argument type is what? Among these two, first argument type is what? First argument type is what? Okay, string. String. Click is a string. That's it. Second argument type is what? Second argument type is what? A function. A function. Okay, so if you pass one function as an argument, that function, what we can say? If you pass one function as an argument, what we can say about that function? It is a callback function or not. Okay, so whenever you pass this function to this person call back with another reference or not. So who call my function click? You are add event listener method. Who call this particular function click? Who call this particular function click? Who call it? Add event listener method or not? If you call, you pass what? Event. But now who call this function click? Add event listener. My add event listener people also what they did, okay, they also called by default with event. So if it is called by default with event, so can we handle that event? Yes or no? Now it should work as expected. See this working or not? My event object there or not there? There or not there? This is the way we can add an event dynamically for any element or not. All right, okay? Hmm? Come on. The click is nothing but on click. Event name. Event name. Okay. Whatever the events are there in JavaScript, okay, same event names you can put it without on. Without on blur is there. Okay, blur only. On mouse over is there. On don't write it, mouse over only. Like this you can mention. Agreed? Huh? Don't put any string, only event, predefined event. On click, predefined, user defined, predefined event you can place here. Okay, without on, that's it. Same event without on. Without on. Okay. If node name equals to div, okay, whenever you click on the div, then the time the node name is like div. Then the time don't perform any operation, just written it. Okay, here, if condition, if I write, you can say like this also. But only one statement is there. Okay, then the time no need to put the braces. Directly you can write the statement. Got my point? All are okay? I will tell the scenario. I will tell the scenario. Okay, in the mobile menu, we are going to use this add event listener. Okay. Okay, then can we go with the next topic? Okay. Say I have one e-commerce website is there. I have one e-commerce website is there. Inside that website, I have one search text box to search the products. If I enter some text, no submit button, nothing. On typing the text, immediately I want to send a request and get the response and have to show the products list. That is my scenario. Let's say, okay, the view is looks like this. Yes. Okay. The next. Can anyone tell me if you enter any kind of text, okay, how I can listen that text box changes, value changes, how we can listen it, how we can listen it. Yes, by using on change is one event. Another one is like on key up, also recommended one. On key up also recommended one. You entered some, you press the key and released. Then the time some text, okay, some character entered into that particular, okay, text box or not. You can use on key up. So on key up is the event. So the listener method, can I write it? Function get products. This is my listener method. Can I write the script? Function get products. This is now if you observe, here is my browser. Inside that one, product name and text box is there. And text box is there. First, my question is, all my products, where they stored? All my product names and everything, where they stored? Amazon or Flipkart or some other, somewhere in the storage, right? Okay, in our case, I can say like a database. Database. I can say like a database. My data, my products data and everything stored within this database. This product name and text box, where it is visible? Browser. Browser, inside the browser, whatever the content is there, that content related code we written by using some technologies, those are like what? Client side technologies. So browser is always acting like what? Client. Whenever you enter a text, okay, laptops, Lenovo, laptops like that, based on this particular text, the mapping, okay, the matching products, okay, from the database, you have to take it and you have to display in the tabular format. So, is my client application can directly communicate with the database? Is it possible or not possible? No. In between, some other middleware help is required. Who is that guy? The server side application help is required or not? The server side application help is required. Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Now, my client has to send a request to whom? My client has to send a request to whom? To my server. My server is going to send a request to whom? Okay, that means server is communicating with whom? Database. And give the response to, okay, response from DB and give it back to whom? And give it back to whom? And give it back to whom? Give it back to my client or all agreed? Now, if you do any change, you need to send a request to the server and get the response and give the response back to my client, okay, and it's going to display here or not. That means for every key up, you are sending one request or not. You need to send a request to the server or not, yes or no, for every key up. Okay, let's go like this. Okay, I don't have any server side code or something, just okay, write some text, normal text. Whenever you enter some text, okay, this method is going to call what to text you entered, that one is required, right? So how we can get it? You can pass event, okay, here event, here you can get an event. Okay, how we can get the name? How we can get the name of the product? Product name is what? Event dot target dot event dot target is nothing but the event triggered on which element? Input. Okay, event dot target dot what? Value or not? Value or not? Event dot target dot value or not? Okay, now I have the product name. Console dot log of some product name. Inspect. Go to console. Say this. I'm able to see that text or not. So with this text, you need to send a request to the server. Yes or no? Come on. Okay. Here, console.log of sending a request to get the product. Which product? Okay, backticks I want to use to get the product name. Sending request to the server. Yes, sir. Now can I refresh the page? Now see this Lenovo laptops. I want to find it. That means I want to get it. Now tell me, total how many requests sent? Total how many requests sent to my server? Total how many requests sent to my server? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 requests. 6 requests went. Okay. Sending the request and getting the response means it's a kind of costly thing. Okay. You are communicating with some other person. That person is going to communicate with some other person. That person give it back to my servers. My server is going to give the response back to client. This much process is going on or not? Background. Yes or no? My request should have to travel that much. Okay, that much for or not here. Server to database, database to server, server to client. That much has to travel or not by request. So if you observe here in the console, see sending the request to the server to get the L. Come on, tell me, is my L is like a product name? LE, is it like a product name? LEN, is it like a product name? Valid product name? LENO, okay, yeah, okay. LENO viewer. This one only the valid product name, right? whatever you send, the previous last 4 requests, those are sending to the server, but it is like invalid data or not. It is not a right input or not to search the products. Yes or no? Okay, that means whatever the 4 requests you sent, those are like useless, right? With that name, no product there in the database. Yes or no? How we can prevent those useless requests? If you prevent to send the request to the server, then the time it is like reduce the burden on your server or not. Then it will give the chance to some other requests or not to give the response. Yes or no? So how we can stop, how we can prevent to send these requests to the server? Anyone? You need to wait. Okay. Whenever wait for some time. If you enter L, immediately don't send the request to the server. Just wait. Let him give the time. Let him give the time. Got my point? Then, yeah, wait for some time, do one operation. Then you can go with what? Set timeout, right? Set interval means keep on sending the requests. You want me to send multiple requests, keep on sending requests. Okay, wait for some time, do one request, send one request, send one request or not. So can I go with what? Set timeout. Okay, yesterday's discussion. Take one handler function. Take one handler function. The next one is what? The next one is what? Wait for some time. Okay, 3 seconds I want to wait. Set timeout returns me what? One identity. You can use this ID. For now, not required. Okay, you can keep that ID. In future, if it is required, you can use it. Now tell me, the request sent after how many seconds? After how many seconds my request sent? 3 seconds or not? Okay, then. Now, can you check it? LENOVO, LAPTOPS. What happened? Is it working? Is it working? With this time interval, it is not. Can I make it like 5? Can I make it like 5? Okay. Can I take this product name here? Can I take this product name here? Now, can I refresh? Lenovo laptops. See this? You send a request to get which product? To send a request. Okay, you are sending the request to get which product? Which product? Lenovo laptops. This time, product name is valid. But how many requests you sent? Still you are sending like 14 requests, right? That means in the past you send like 14 requests only with different product names like LO, LE, NO, like that. But now you are sending 14 requests again with the same product name, right? It is also impact on by extra burden, right, on my server. Sending 14 requests, okay, with the same product name. Then how? Then how? I want to reduce it. I want to give some time to that guy. Okay, I want to reduce number of API calls, number of times this particular functionality is executing or not. I want to execute this functionality, not multiple times. I want to restrict this particular functionality to call multiple times. Then how? Then how? Okay, simple code I want to write it. Will it work or not? Okay, we'll see. Once it is work, after that we'll think later. Okay. Okay, like this I written. Okay, just a simple code change. Okay, two places I did the change. First of all, it's going to work or not. Okay, check. After that, we'll explain. How many requests went? How many requests went? One request. With valid product name or not? With valid product name or not? Yes. Yes. Now, can anyone explain me this piece of code to me? You can unmute and you can, any one of you, just take 1 minute time. Just see this piece of code and explain. Anyone? Anyone? At least one person. Hmm?
Sir, you told that where has a functional scope, right? So how is it you wrote it outside the function and we are still able to use it?
Where is a functional scope? When? If you declare inside the function. Am I declare inside the function? Am I declare inside the
No,
function or outside the function? It's a global now.
okay. Yes, sir.
So in this, like every time the set timeout is getting cleared, because
Mhm.
on every key up, the function is called.
Yeah.
So because every time the timeout is getting cleared,
Mhm.
so it's not sending the request.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Any other answers? Okay, don't worry. See, first time, you entered. Okay, you triggered one event. What is the event name? Key up. My event name is what? Key up. The event name is like key up. You triggered this event. Okay, by entering which character? Which character you entered? L. L. Whenever you entered L, that means key up event triggered. Which method is going to call? Which method is going to call? Which
Function
method?
get called.
Function get products. Okay. In the function get products, the first eighth line, what is that? Clear timeout of ID. At this moment, what is my ID value? Anyone? At this moment, what is my ID value?
One.
One. Undefined.
Undefined.
Undefined. Why? ID not created. Okay, ID when it is going to create set timeout call, then only assigned to ID or not. At this moment, my set timeout not called, right? First time. Clear timeout is what? ID. Nothing is there to clear. Yes or no? So next line number 9. So set timeout you called. Set timeout you called. Okay, when my set timeout call this callback, when this callback is going to execute? After
5 seconds.
after 5
5
seconds.
seconds.
Yes, after 5 seconds. So that my timer started. Okay. So for my first event, you entered L. Okay. My ID is like what? Undefined. Okay. Nothing cleared. Nothing. No timeout cleared. Now my new ID created or not? Yes or no? Come on. New ID created or not? Okay, my timer started or not? What is my timer? Okay, 5000 milliseconds, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, like this. Whenever reaches 0, call what? Call back. Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay. Now, whenever I enter L text, L character, okay, nothing is cleared. Okay, one ID created, maybe anything, it's a unique one. Okay, my set timeout. Okay, start the timer. Start the timer. Okay, when this particular function called, this callback, when it is going to call? After, come on, after 5 seconds. After 5 seconds. Okay, this callback method is going to call. But what happened, before 5 seconds only, okay, that means whenever he entered L, within 1 second only, he entered one more character. What is that? E. E. Now tell me, within 1 second, if I enter one more character, that means one more event you triggered. At that moment, my time interval, okay, reaches zero, na? Not reaches, at that moment. Come on, my timer started. Within 1 second only, you triggered one more event means, okay, now my timer here only, right? 4 seconds completed. Okay, when this callback method is going to call? After
After 4
5
seconds,
seconds
3
only. But,
seconds.
okay, 4 seconds remaining, 3 seconds remaining. Okay, you triggered one more event or not? That time, again, this method is going to call or not? Yes or no? Okay, now tell me, ID there or not there? Now,
ID there, sir.
ID there. Okay, whenever the ID there, you cleared the timeout. Whenever you cleared the timeout, whatever the previous timer is running, okay, terminated abnormally from here itself or not? Yes, sir. Come on. Okay,
Yes, sir.
again it's going to create what? Again, it's create what? Set timeout again called means one more ID gets created or not? ID equals to 2. That is also running the timer or not? 5, 4, 3, 2, like that. Within 1 second, again you entered one more text, then the time again that timer also what? Cleared or not? Like that. Okay, one event to another event, if the gap is like less than 5 seconds, each and every, okay, timer gets cleared or not? Yes, sir. Come on. One event to another event gap is like less than 5 seconds. Every time those timers are like cleared or not? Agreed with me? Come on. Okay, when this callback is going to call then? Whenever you give some pause. Okay, if the event to event gap is like 5 seconds more than that, then only. Now that the reason, see, okay, LENOVO, the event to event gap is not there. Okay, now see, I given some gap. Okay, once the gap is like 5 seconds, then only it's sending the request to server or not. This much gap is not required for me. Just give like 1 second. Okay, the event to event gap is like more than 1 second, then only you can send the request. Say this. Get with me. Come on. Okay. Terminology wise, this concepts we can say like a debouncing. By using debouncing concept, we can optimize the performance or not. Instead of sending the request to the server multiple times, okay, instead of calling one function multiple times frequently, instead of calling, give some pause, call it. In that case, can I use this concept? If the event to event gap, you mentioned that gap 1 second or 5 seconds or 2 seconds, you mentioned event to event gap is like more than some time interval, then only I want to perform some operation. Okay, if the gap is like less than that, then that time don't do any operation. Then that time can you go with this concept? Come on. If the event to event gap is like more than 2 seconds, then all I want to perform some operation. If the event to event gap is like less than 2 seconds, don't do anything. Then the time it works or not, this code snippet. Okay, this concept, okay, whatever you written the code, that concept terminology is we can say like a debouncing. It's a kind of optimizing the performance. It's a performance optimization technique in JavaScript. All right, okay. Any questions, anyone? Where we are going to use in React, I will tell. Anyone have any questions? Can I go with the throttling? Same. Can I go with the throttling? Okay, okay, slight change has to do, more than that, nothing. My question is very simple. At the time of triggering the first event, is my callback method called or not called in the debouncing? See, if I enter L, okay, at the time of triggering the first event, this callback method called or not called? Come on, tell me. In the debouncing, called or not called? Not called, right? Not called, right? Okay, let's give some example. What is that example? My question is very simple. See, you are changing the width of my browser like this. Width of my browser. You are changing the width of my browser like this. Now I want to track the width of my browser. That's it. I want to print the width of my browser here. Okay, otherwise here I want to print the width of my browser. Then how? Okay, width is something like this. You can write it. I want to find the width of my browser. So how we can? If I do the change like this, first of all, you need to listen the browser resizing or not. If you do any resize, you need to listen or not. So if you want to listen it, can I go with what? Which event? On resize event. For every resize, I want to listen that. I want to listen it. What is my event name? On resize. On which element you want me to add this resize? For example, okay, one button is there. One button is there. Okay, one button is there. Okay, if I click on the button, I want to perform some operation. This is my event. So event is there. To whom you need to apply that particular element is there. So you can add that event to that particular element or not. But now on resize event is there. But to whom you need to apply? To whom you need to apply? To my browser. Is my browser related code is there or not there? Come on. Is my browser related code is physically available or not available? Physically available or not available? Not available. If any element physically not available, still I want to add some events, then the time the global element is what? Root element is what in JavaScript? Window, right? On window, you can add an event. On window, you can add an event. It's a kind of window only, right? You are resizing this window. Okay, you are resizing the scroll. You can say like a window or not if it is physically not available. So can I add my window? Okay, I want to add an event. How we can add it? How we can add it? Which method is there? Just now we discussed add event listener. Okay, what is my event? Resize. You can write your callback function or not. Okay, now document.body is nothing but body element. It is occupies the full width of my window dot, okay, offset width, offset width, okay, offset width. This is your browser width. Can I write like a console? Browser resizing, browser resizing. Yes. Now observe here. Yes. Now see this. How many times that is calling? For every pixel change, every time it is going to call or not. Every time it is going to call or not. For example, here, while, okay, calling this function, I have 5k lines of code is there. How many times this 5k lines of code will execute? How many times this 5k lines of code will execute? How many times, sir? How many times executed? These many times executed, right? Is it the recommended way? Is it the recommended way? Can I give some gap? The event to event gap is like more than 2 seconds. Then only can you do this operation. It's also, my screen is got stuck. It should not be. Okay. Is it okay now? Is it okay now? Is it okay now? Yes. Okay. Now, these lines of code, I don't want to execute for each and every pixel. Okay. Event to event, resize event to resize event gap is like more than 2 seconds. Then only I want to execute. Then how we can? Then how we can? Where ID. Come on. Same story. Same story. Clear timeout of ID. Set timeout. You can write a function. Event to event gap is like 2 seconds, more than 2 seconds. More than 2 seconds. Then only I want to find the, okay, I want to trigger browser resizing and the console. Okay, message is this one. I want to print my browser width here. Console.log of, okay, this is my browser width. Got the point? Now the ID is this one. ID is this one. Can I refresh the page? Now see, I'm doing resizing. Anything is happening? Anything is printing in my console. Now I stop. Once my 2 seconds completed, now my browser width is like 586. Okay, how many lines of code executed? 5k lines only one time or not? Yes or no? Come on. Can anyone confirm? Able to understand or not? Okay. This particular value, I want to print in my H1. Okay. Here, this is my width. Where width? Okay. Document dot query selector of H1 dot inner text. Okay. My width, browser width is $W. That's it. Okay. Now if I refresh the page, see the problem. See, are you able to see the width? I'm resizing. Are you able to see the width? Is it printed? Is it printed? Is it printed anything in my browser? Nothing, right? Whenever I stopped, then that time it is showing like my browser width is like 633. But my requirement is what, whenever you triggered an event first time, okay, show the browser width. After that, if you do any modifications, then that time you can do, okay, one event to another event gap is like more than 200, then you can show it. See, I'm doing like this. Nothing is visible. It is not a, okay, affected way of handling this one or not in this case. So what I have to do is, see, whenever you trigger a first event, can you perform that operation? Next time onwards, can you calculate event to event gap is like more than 2 minutes or 2 seconds, sorry. Like that, can we handle it? Whenever you trigger a first event, then that time, okay, I want to perform this operation. Okay, this one, can I write inside another method, function resize. Okay, this method. Okay, now this function resize you can call from here. Yes. Okay, can I refresh the page? Okay, now see this. If I, okay, changing the values like this. Okay, after 2 seconds only it is visible. But my question is what? Whenever you trigger a first event, show the current width. After that, if you, okay, change the value, change the size of the browser, okay, one event to another event gap is like more than 2 seconds, then that time you can show that value. Okay, but whenever you trigger an event first time, show that current browser width. That time how much width is there, show it. Okay, but now if you handle like this, it is not showing or not. Whenever the first event triggered, yes, triggered, but it is not showing anything. Okay, here only we calculated like what, only handled what, event to event gap is like more than 2 seconds only. Okay, it is a debouncing. Throttling is nothing but trigger an event first time. Okay, first time whenever you trigger an event, call that method. Next time onwards, event to event gap is like more than 2 seconds, you can perform this operation. Like that, you can handle it. So very simple. Let's take one flag. Okay, if flag is like true, then that time, can you call my function resize? After that, can I make the flag is like false? Flag is like false. Very simple. First time my flag is what? True. Okay, now call what? Function resize. Flag is what? False. I made my flag is like false. Okay, whenever the next event triggered, flag is what? False. Every time my flag is false only or not. When it is true, only first time or not. Now see. If I refresh the page, now see, whenever you trigger an event, see this 592 printed or not. Okay, after that it's calculating like what? Event to event gap is like more than, okay, 2 seconds, then the time it is like 840 printed or not. Yes or no? ID you not calculate exactly this is 1 or 2 or 3 like that. ID is like keep on changing. It's a unique identity, but you not mention, you not say like ID exactly starts with 1, starts with 2 like that. Don't say like that. Okay, it is a unique identity. That's it. Already set timeout run inside the browser. Okay, then the time one ID allocated to that particular one. For you, another ID is going to allocate it. Got my point? Okay, here the difference is what? Bouncing and throttling. Event to event gap is like more than, okay, event to event gap is like more than my time interval. Then only I want to perform some operation, go with the debouncing. Okay, I want to add like at the time of loading, at the time of triggering the first event, I want to call one function, and then event to event is gap more than 2 seconds or more than some time interval. Then also I want to call that function. Then you can go with what? Throttling. If you handle like this concept we can say like a throttling. If you handle only event to event gap, then the time you can say like a bouncing. Agreed with me? Agreed? Debouncing and throttling. Agreed or not? Okay then. Now, can you go to uijavakit.com? Can you go to uijavakit.com? Are you able to complete these topics or not? First introduction is done, right? Variable random methods, higher order function, callback methods, or so many things we discussed. Okay. The next one is like array method, string methods, not yet discussed. We'll see. JSON reference. This one completed. Get reference completed. Apply styles completed. Events complete. Debouncing, throttling. Okay. Oops concepts, create elements, attributes, set timeout, set interval. Okay, whatever the topics we completed, can you write the notes? In your own words. Okay, now here somewhere you can find event bubbling and event capturing also. Can you go with this? Bubbling and capturing. Okay, you can read it. You can understand now. Event capturing and event bubbling. Can you go with the closer? Can you go with the call apply bind? These all things, whatever we completed, just complete. JS is very, very important. Very, very important. JS. Complete it. Okay. Write your own notes, whatever the topics we covered. Read it. Okay. Tomorrow we'll see remaining things. Only today's assignment is like JS topics. Whatever we complete, just complete from your end. Okay. Okay, then thank you guys.